Jinnie may have been Jetmir's second, but she was your first pick.
And Giada really let me spread my wings.
My name's Taylor.
Hi, I'm Chris, and welcome to episode 6 of Commander Role Reversal.
I'd clap, but we need 2 hands.
It's cause for celebration.
Exactly. What else is cause for celebration is this is a YouTube channel, so please remember to like, subscribe, and share with your pets, because that is the theme of this episode.
Oh, this is the pets episode.
You gotta be kidding me. It's only gonna get worse.
We will be sure to include the Moxfield Decklists for your pets in the description below. For those of you who have been here so far, we're changing up the format a little bit. We're going to talk about the gameplay experience later. Mm-hmm. We're going to jump right into the card evaluations. So without further ado, how does this work, Taylor?
How does this work? Well, the winner of the games goes first, and I'm thrilled to announce that you won. I'm announcing that you won, I guess.
I swooped in for the victory with Giada, Font of Hope. 1 and a white for a legendary creature angel, flying vigilance. Each other angel you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it for each angel you already control. Tap, add a white, spend this mana only to cast an angel spell. Giada's a 2/2.
Good heavens. That's an angel tribal, Commander.
That is angel tribal. It has angel tribal written all over. It's only a 2-drop angel, too. You don't see many of those.
Music to my ears.
It acts as a mana dork. It makes all of your other angels bigger. It was a lot of fun to play. I just want to jump right in and talk about some of the angels that you put in this deck, because there were some bangers, as the kids say.
I ran angels in this?
Mostly angels, yeah.
It was changeling tribal. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Watsy, print some more angels. We've got the commander now. One of the ones that really came in strong was Lyra Dawnbringer. Lyra Dawnbringer is a 3, a white and a white for a legendary creature angel, flying, first strike, lifelink. Other angels you control get +1/+1 and have lifelink. It's a 5/5. So yeah, this was like a lord within the deck that also give the angels lifelink. I think there was a bit of a life gain sub-theme here too.
Yeah, you might have been right about that. From what I understand, this was the de facto angel commander before Giada was printed.
I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're doubling into the lifelink strategy, like
Sure.
Why not give all your evasive creatures life gain?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's I mean, Lyra by herself is super powerful, but the fact that it also buffs the whole team with not only the +1/+1 but the lifelink, that's what really makes a difference, right?
Secret commander.
There was another awesome angel in here that really actually paired well with Lyra. That was Sigarda's Vanguard. 4 and a white for a creature angel with flash and flying. Whenever Sigarda's Vanguard enters the battlefield or attacks, choose any number of creatures with different powers. Those creatures gain double strike until the end of turn. It's 3/3.
I love that keyword. Double strike.
Double strike.
Keywords.
Lifelink.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What was so cool about this, Giada gives all of your angels +1/+1 counters for each other angel on the battlefield. So whereas, you might have a lot of 3/3s or a lot of 5/5 angels or anywhere in between, the fact that they're coming in at different points means they're getting a different number of counters. So it's super easy to get to activate that ability, to trigger that ability.
It's like a more fun Cather's Crusade.
And on theme with the tribe too, so we're just winning.
Love it.
Another card that was particularly amazing was Angel of Serenity. Angel of Serenity, 4 white for a creature angel with flying. When Angel of Serenity enters the battlefield, you may exile up to 3 other target creatures from the battlefield and or creature cards from graveyards. When Angel of Serenity leaves the battlefield, return the exiled cards to their owner's hands, 5/5.
Yeah, I really overlooked the graveyard portion of this card's text. I was thrown for a loop when you were like, I'll take that out of your graveyard. Thank you, muchly.
So you've got a reanimator strategy over there. Not today.
Thanks, Conrad.
With, I mean, that is really key, being able to take cards out of graveyards, because you're really able to get those reanimation targets, which is really, really powerful. And also, when you're exiling from the graveyard, the other cool thing about Angel of Serenity that's unlike other effects that are similar to this is that the cards actually go back to the owner's hands.
Right.
So they don't immediately ETB. They don't go back to the graveyard for reanimation. They go back to the owner's hands. So then the opponent has to figure out what to do with the cards from there.
Yeah, and I think that was what drew me to the card initially, so much so that I didn't realize that you could just use it to reanimate the 3 things in your graveyard that you need the most. It still needs to die for you to get them back, but, I mean, angels don't live forever at Avacyn. Oh, topical? Too soon? We're going to put Anguished Unmaking up here. Sad day.
Oh, Soren. You betrayed us all.
What a grim nemesis. Anyway.
Angel Serenity is a banger. Another really incredible one. Talk about the life gain aspect of this deck. Righteous Valkyrie, 2 and a white for a creature angel cleric with flying. Whenever another angel or cleric enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness, as long as you have at least 7 life more than your starting life total. Creatures you control gain +2/+2. It's a 2/4. This ability stacks with Giada, because when the creature enters the battlefield, it has a +1/+1 counter, which adds up to more life, which triggers the static ability, which then adds up to more life being gained. It gets out of hand.
Absolutely. Yeah. I really took my own advice to you to get a life to heart and just decided to go full life gain on this deck. But yeah, it pairs really well too with another card in there. Valkyrie Harbinger, I think, which is a 4 generic 2 white pip, flying 4/5 that reads anytime. I don't remember what it reads. I'm going to put it right here.
Is another life gain effect.
Yeah, I think if you gain 4 life or something like that, then it generates a 4/4 flying vigilant angel.
I do remember that from the deck list. Yeah, it pops out another 4/4 at the end of turn. Yeah,
and I think it's per each turn. It's not just on yours too. So it's one of those we'll go around and just gain life on everybody's turn.
That's awesome. Yeah, you could get tricksy. There were some flash creatures in here too, so you could potentially trigger on other players' turns.
Flash mob tribal.
Or if you're blocking with life linkers, that's another way to do it. Wow.
For sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to get there. So those are, there's so many powerful angels. It's a really cool tribe. I'm glad to see that that we have such a good mono white commander for the mono white angel tribal. There was one other card that I wanted to mention that just synergizes perfectly with Giada, and that's the Ozolith.
Yes.
You know it. You love it. The Ozolith, 1 generic mana for a legendary artifact. Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those counters on the Ozolith. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if the Ozolith has counters on it, you may move all counters from the Ozolith onto target creature.
I love this card so much I can't remember what playing Commander was like before it was printed. Seriously, what did we do with all those +1 counters?
Yeah.
They just went away.
They disappeared, yeah. And you can get pretty tricky with this too. I think there's some ways to really abuse this effect and just really stack a lot of counters for your next combat.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Or you could animate it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. With a card called Karn Silver Golem. It's a 5 generic legendary artifact creature golem that reads, whenever Karn Silver Golem blocks or becomes blocked, it gets -4/+4 until end of turn. It has a pay 1 activated ability. Target non-creature artifact becomes an artifact creature with power and toughness, each equal to its mana value until end of turn. Karn is a 4/4, but that doesn't matter because your Ozolith will be a 1/1 plus however many 1/1 counters are on it.
I thought we were going to get through an episode.
Why would you think that? Why would you think that?
Subverted my expectations. But you're right, though. That is actually a really good target to animate with Karn. You're totally right.
I should have put it in there, but the last time I put him in a deck, you stole my segment.
What's cool, though, the Ozolith also takes any other counters that you might have on there, too. So if you do animate it with Karn, it could have Vigilance, Lifelink, Flying. It could add any of those.
For sure. I mean, this is the new Capenna set, right? So, and I know that the Brokers specifically was a house, the Bant house that or crime family. I don't know what we're calling them, but they're all about the different counters, shield counters. I was really happy to see that they're bringing back that from the Ikoria set, lifelink counters, double strike counters, things like that. So all you need is some proliferate. Oh
my gosh, amazing! Yeah, keyword counters are really where it's at. It adds a whole other gameplay aspect. It's a whole other it's such a fun mechanic. Karn started as a meme, but he actually really works with the Ozolith.
Let's not get too serious about it.
Right. We'll keep it light. Those are the cards that I really wanted to highlight from your list, Taylor. I was hoping you would maybe talk about the deck that you were playing for this round.
I would love to, because this deck was so much fun. This deck was Jinnie Fay, Jetmir's second, which is hybrid red-green, green-white hybrid. I probably said that wrong, but it's 3 mana value total. Legendary creature, elf druid. If you would create 1 or more tokens, you may instead create that many 2/2 green cat creature tokens with haste, or that many 3/1 green dog creature tokens with vigilance. Jinnie Fay is a 3/3. I have a lot of thoughts about the gameplay experience of this commander, but I'm just going to dive straight into what cards work with this. And spoiler alert, it's cards that made tokens. So we're going to start right off the bat with another cat, which I think might have been a sub-theme of this deck based off of it.
Oh, it was full cat tribal. You can do cats or dogs. I just went full feline.
I didn't see much dog love, but
No.
Okay.
not today.
That's fine.
That's a different build. That's a different list, Wolf.
Yeah. It just makes last episode's outro mean nothing, but that's fine. But for this one, Prava of the Steel Legion, which is 2 and a white for a legendary creature cat soldier that reads, as long as it's your turn, creature tokens you control get +1/+4. Is an activated ability of pay 3 and a white for create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. It also has partner. It's a 1/4. Turns out when you have the ability to make 2/2 hasty cats, they're a lot better when they become 3/6. Yeah, math's hard. 3/6 hasty cats. So this paired really, really well. I mean, I'm a stickler for the mono white cards, but it's just kind of extra gravy, you would say, that it could make the tokens if you don't have them. And we're not making the 1/1s. We don't care about that. It's just we're gonna activate that ability while Jinnie Fay's out and just create cats in this case.
Whatever we want, cats or dogs. I didn't know this, but Prava's a cat.
Yes, a cat soldier.
Cat soldier, really cool creature type. So it also fits with the other cat synergies in the deck too, on top of just making those tokens buff.
Calculated. These cats need to lay off the kibbles, though. My goodness, big butts. How else did we make these tokens, though? We can't always rely on Prava to be out in the field, but we can always rely on the classic Secure the Wastes. Pay X and a white for an instant that reads create X 1/1 white warrior creature tokens. What it should say is win the game with your commander out, because that's what this does. In the games that we played, I almost exclusively did the cat tokens, just because that haste is so good, and the way that Chris built this deck was to be kind of cat tribal, so there were some anthem effects.
Yes.
And it turns out when you can, at instant speed, create 8 hasty cats that are big and buffed. Yeah. Yikes. I hope you have 9 lives. Hey, not the card.
That's a great card.
Is it?
Solemnity.
Stop it.
So the thing about Secure the Waste is it's usually that big end step play that you do right before your turn, but you don't even care with the Jinnie Fay. You cast it. You don't even have to hold up the mana. You just sink all of your mana for that turn into Secure the Waste. You play whatever you want the turn before. Then you play Secure the Waste and you have hasty 2/2 cats. It's like
worst case.
Right.
Best case, they're much larger, but still hasty. So I don't know if you had some catnip over there or why they're running to you so quick, but they did it.
Yeah, I'm really glad they went with haste on that. That was really cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Speaking of cats, another cat that's also a mono white card, Regal Caracal. Caracal. It's 3 generic white for a creature that, you guessed it, is a cat. Reads other cats you control get +1/+1 and have lifelink. Take that, Angels. When Regal Caracal enters the battlefield, create 2/1/1 white cat creature tokens with lifelink. Regal Caracal is a 3/3. So Magical Christmas Land happened, and you're experiencing it. It's the 3 cards that I just described to you were in play or used in the game, and that was the one game that I won against you.
Yeah, that was a swift victory right there from that board state.
And I'll be honest, I didn't look at Regal Caracal and say, this is the card that wins me the game. That's the card that won me the game.
Yeah. I mean, it puts out 2 1/1s, which are actually 2/2s with haste that continue to have lifelink. Fun fact, caracals actually hunt birds in the air. If you've ever seen a caracal jump, they can jump like, don't quote me on this, but maybe 25 feet into the air to catch birds. They're the most vertically proficient cats in the animal kingdom. But this show is not Animal Planet show. But that is another fun fact about caracals. They also give lifelink.
I'm sad that the example you used was cat eating a bird, my favorite tribe, but
that is sad. That's
fine. We'll move past it. And I think the way that I'm going to do that is now every time we reference this, it'll be like 20 feet more than you described. Did you know that Regal Caracals could drop 45 feet in the air?
I heard they can jump 65 feet.
Stop it. Well, I couldn't get through this segment without sharing some love for the other colors because this wasn't a monocolored deck. Another cat, though, that caught my eye was a green cat, Kasali Slingers. 4 generic and a green for a creature cat warrior with reach. Really helpful when you're going against angels. Whenever Kasali Slingers or another cat enters the battlefield under your control, you may destroy target artifact or enchantment. It is a 3/5. The thing that got me about this card, and I really think I just need to read cards more, better, at all. Any other cat entering the battlefield, and oh my goodness, your commander makes so many cats. This was lovely.
That's awesome. Yeah, it does, and it's not even non-token, right?
Nope.
It's any cats. So it has that Aura Shards effect when a creature enters, destroy enchantment artifact. I think it's actually better than Aura Shards in this deck. I know that might be a controversial take, but when you're popping out like with just any tokens that you're making cats in multiples, like you're getting a lot of those. You're just going to clear the board. Your opponents are going to be sad because they have no more artifacts or enchantments.
This card is this good, and the critics still panned the Cats remake. I don't know what happened. Like, come on. Throw him a bone? No. Throw him a... That would be dogs. Anyway. Moving on to my final card that I wanted to point out for this segment. It was the honorary Wombo number 5. And it's Allurin, which is 2 generic green enchantment that reads, and you better be sitting down for this one, any player may cast creature spells with mana value 3 or less without paying their mana costs and as though they had flash. This is, speaking of cards that create new games, I mean, we were referring to the counters changing the game. This is a piece of cardboard that just turns Magic into a different game. Yeah. And it's who has more 3-drops.
Yeah. It was funny. I had 1 3-drop in my hand when you played it, so I had to respond to whatever your next spell was because you just can't not take advantage of that.
The only reason I knew that this actually allowed you to play creatures too when I played it is because you did have
in response.
So, yeah. I said, what? That angel doesn't have flash? And how many angels can be 3 drops or less? This not immediately plays one.
Yeah. Yeah. There's at least one. The thing about Allurin is it's an old card. It's from Tempest. It's a bit on the expensive side because it is a combo generate
combo.
Yeah. So it seems like real bad on the surface. You don't just play this card out and hope for the best. Well, sometimes you do, and then you get...
I do.
And I get a free 3-drop angel out of the deal. But anytime you're able to flicker cards, you can do it at instant speed. You can do it without paying any mana. Free. So it's really good for generating some of those wombos, wombo combos.
It's so funny that you say, you mentioned it being a combo piece. I actually had cast an Enlightened Tutor, and I didn't know what I was looking to get out of that situation. I was in pretty dire straits at that point. And going through the deck and seeing that, I was like, I have no idea what the purpose of this is, but this feels like more than just good stuff.
Yeah.
And I cast it because it was fun. Why not?
That's awesome.
Or put it on the top of my deck, but I digress.
Yeah, that's the fun part. That's one of the fun parts about like kind of trying to solve the puzzle, right? As we're building each other's decks, like you don't really know. Just for the benefit of the audience, the combo in this deck is with white mainline, which is a 2/2 creature cat, 1 and a white that says when it enters the battlefield, return target creature to your hand. So you just play it for free, return it to your hand, play it for free, return it. So you have Infinite Storm, and then you just need to pay off like an Aetherflux Reservoir.
Oh, you dirty dog.
to pay that off. So
wow. I did notice an Aetherflux in there.
That was the combo, yeah.
Wow. 0 given.
This is a children's show.
I'll bleep that out. I said Aetherflux.
This is a children's card game, so we're going to have to ask you to leave.
That's Yu-Gi-Oh! But that wraps up all of my favorite cards. Playing through the deck, those were certainly the more synergistic pieces that I encountered, but we've done this enough to know that for all the cards we love and understand why they're in there, there are going to be some that we don't. And I have a feeling you might have encountered a couple of those.
I had a couple I wanted to ask you about.
Let's hear them.
All right. The first card that popped out for me as a question was Anointed Procession. You know it, you love it. Again, it's 3 and a white for an enchantment, and if an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many of those tokens instead. I didn't notice a lot of token generation, but I might have missed where this card was best put to use.
You'll think less of me if I tell you why it's in there.
That's not possible.
Oh.
Got him.
This is where the show ends. It's been a good 6-episode run.
Love you, man.
Okay. Love you too. You say that, but if I'm running Smothering Tithe, why wouldn't I run Anointed Procession?
Okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah, I mean that was a large part of why it's in there, but there were also a few token generators in the form of angel tokens specifically.
Okay. Oh, right. We talked about one earlier, actually.
Yeah, Valkyrie Harbinger was one of those. We had discussed that creates angel tokens. Book of Exalted Deeds was another one. And one of the things that I really like about all of them is they kind of were dependent on life gain in order to trigger the token creation. So it kind of all wraps in together like that.
Wow, that synergy.
But yeah, it was just for Smothering Tithe.
Strictly to make twice as many treasure tokens. Yeah, that's great. I guess I had overlooked some of the token generation, but you're right. There was enough of it, and I love that it was also tied to the life gain because that was a major theme in the deck.
I suppose I could have doubled down on a little bit more and gone for some of the classic Decree of Justice, Entreat the Angels, other token generators, but I opted to stick with primarily ones that were on the angel bodies to maximize Giada's ability.
Yeah, that's perfectly fair. Yeah, I think you had the Amaria's land, the mythic one, in there.
Yes.
So there were a couple of instances of that, but really good. It's funny that you bring up the Book of Exalted Deeds because I wanted to ask you about the Book of Exalted Deeds. White for a legendary artifact. At the beginning of your end step, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, create a 3/3 white angel creature token with flying. But wait. White, tap, exile the Book of Exalted Deeds, put an enlightened counter on target angel it gains. You can't lose the game and your opponents can't win the game. Activate only as a sorcery. I think I understand half of this card, but could you tell me about the other half of the card, Taylor?
Okay, only because we've already established that you're the dirty combo player. But if for some reason your army of holy angel avenger warriors isn't doing enough, and you just need to not lose the game, my favorite standard legal Once Upon a Time combo is Book of Exalted Deeds with the land Faceless Haven, which is a land that becomes a man land. I think it's a 4/3 with Vigilant. You do have to pay 3 snow mana in order to turn it into a creature, so you might have noticed the snow lands
for sure.
That's in there to trigger that. But the idea is you create you have the man land become the land. It is every creature type because it has changeling or I don't think it's keyworded as changeling. It just says it has every creature type. And then Book of Exalted Deeds, you activate the ability, putting the you can't lose the game counter onto the land. So the only way that you are going to be able to lose the game is if they find a way to blow up your land. And due to the fantastic social contracts in EDH, nobody runs that. So you just win the game.
That's a banned combo.
In Standard.
Oh, okay, just to be clear.
Standard.
Yeah, we're not playing Standard here, so you can do whatever you want with Book of Exalted Deeds. And
suppose you could put it on Allison, too.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Wow. Okay, that I just wanted to hear the combo and let the fine folks at home know.
Make the decision.
Yeah. You decide who's the bad guy here.
Okay.
I'll pitch it back to you.
Your agenda is showing. Moving on to my questionable cards. I certainly won't put you through the ringer as much as you put me through it, but I will ask you about one, Oblivion Ring, which is 2 and a white. For an enchantment, when Oblivion Ring enters the battlefield, exile another target non-land permanent. When Oblivion Ring leaves the battlefield, return the exiled card to the battlefield under its owner's control. I have it in the show notes. This is a bad card? This is a bad card. I don't know why are you running this.
This is just a bad removal spell.
Yeah.
Don't play this card. Right. Well, I wasn't really satisfied with only having one infinite combo in the deck, so I had to.
And I'm the problem.
Okay, yeah, we figured out maybe we are the bad guys. So Oblivion Ring and Leonin Relic Warder, which is a white and a white for a 2/2 cat that exiles an artifact or an enchantment underneath it until it leaves the battlefield. And I'm going to put the third card right up here. It's one of the partner commanders from Ikoria that has a similar effect to Oblivion Ring, only when it leaves the battlefield, it distributes +1/+1 counters based on the creature's power among any creatures you control. So you can essentially just loop the Oblivion Ring and the partner commander with Leonin Relic Warder.
Was that the Selesnya cat that partners with the mono black? Okay.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so you loop it until you have infinite +1/+1 counters, and then you just target something else with the Oblivion Ring.
Lovely. Or you put those infinite counters onto the Ozolith and then animate the Ozolith, but I digress.
Is this Ozolith Voltron? Is that what we're going for?
Yeah. Rule 0, Ozolith is my commander. It's a legendary artifact.
Wow, that'd be a cool deck.
Oh, gosh.
I would let that play.
Oh, thanks, man.
Let us know in the comments below. Would you let the Ozolith be a commander at your table?
Listen, we've had crazier things. Like a mech? What? Other question card that I had on here, I think I see what you're going with it just from a value standpoint, but I'm going to call you on it anyway. Felidar Sovereign, 4 generic white creature, cat beast, that has vigilance and lifelink. That's a 4/6, but it also has, at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 40 or more life, you win the game. Really, it just kind of seems like a convoluted payoff for your Infinite Storm combo, but what was the idea with this?
Yeah. Well, listen. It's a cat, and it says you win the game on it. So that was really all the reasoning I needed to get in the deck. I mean, in all seriousness, there is a bit of life gain. I mean, it is the kind of card where you have to wait a whole trip around the table, and you know that all of your opponents are going to be attacking you to get your life total below 40. So you just have to make sure that your life total's padded enough as it is. It's not a great win con, but it's a cat.
It's a fun one.
It's a fun one, yeah. Maybe
if only it were 3 mana.
It's free.
Yay. Flash. And step win.
That's right.
Next. But yeah, that wraps it up for my my questionable card segment. But that means that we get to the fun part. It's all fun. Thank you for being here with us.
Yeah. I'm having a great time.
Chris, what are some of your suggestions for the Giada deck?
So speaking of flash win cons,
oh boy,
I wanted to suggest a really boring card, perhaps for some. Emergence Zone. It's a land that taps for a colorless and pay 1 and tap, sacrifice Emergence Zone. You may cast spells this turn as though they had flash. It's not a boring card. I take that back because it does allow you to play at instant speed, anything you want to. But the reason I wanted to suggest is because you had a card in here called Test of Endurance, which is 2 a white and a white enchantment at the beginning of your upkeep. If you have 50 or more life, you win the game. It's kind of funny. We have this. We both had a similar win condition. In
Unplanned.
The deck. Totally unplanned. And the script, yeah. So I was just thinking, like, it's one of these cards where you have to have more than 50 life at your upkeep, and it has to make it all the way back around the table. So what if you could flash it in?
Touche, sir. Touche. I think it is funny that I think every single deck except for this one, I have included Emergence Zone. So the one time I don't throw it in, and the land base.
Yeah.
Goodness forbid I try and run more basics.
It is a solid utility card, depending on your strategy for sure. And if you have like one of those slots that you're okay with creating colorless mana, I think it's good. But you maybe were already taking that up with Faceless Haven, for all I know.
Honestly, I cut it for Seraph Sanctuary.
Oh.
Yeah, which life gain versus flash, but might have made sense to maybe cut a basic plane for that too. I can see it. I can see it.
Well, if you've got a spot for it, I'd
just run for Vidal Canori.
Sweet. Those artifacts. Another card that occurred to me as I was looking through this list, I noticed that a lot of the angels had really good enter the battlefield effects. So I was thinking about, what if you included Teleportation Circle on the list? That. 3 and a white for an enchantment at the beginning of your end step. Exile up to 1 target artifact or creature you control. Return the card to the battlefield under its owner's control. I mean, this is just a good value card when you have those powerful ETBs, but I was also thinking about the synergies with the Ozolith. You could flicker one of your creatures with a lot of counters on it, put those on the Ozolith, and the next turn around it's going to get bonkers. You're
like really hitting me in all of my deck building insecurities because this is so historically, it's very difficult for me to build a creature-heavy deck, even when it should be a creature-heavy deck. It's very rare that I have more than, 10, 12 creatures in any deck that I build. So I ended up having kind of a turmoil when I was building this. Do I cut some of the artifact synergy staple pieces to allow for more cool angels? And that was kind of where I landed, and I did do that. So I think, to your point, it would be good to go back and kind of see which angels didn't necessarily perform to cut that out to maximize things. Because being able to flicker Angel of Serenity, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Just recur everything.
Recur everything from your graveyard and then take care of your opponent's boards at the same time.
We have fun here.
Yeah. That is a bit of a conundrum, right? Because it is a creature deck, though. I think that's a really good point. I think you had maybe about 30 creatures in the deck this time.
Just under 30, I think. Yeah. It was in mid-20s. Yeah. Which was a first for me.
Yeah, it seemed really, really good, and I was always drawing creatures. I was always drawing angels, so that was it. Really did the thing. It really had a good concentration there. So I could see, I could see not including this too, just for that fact that it's not a creature in the creature deck for sure.
Yeah, I think I was trying to find creatures that did have ETBs that made up for the artifacts that I was cutting. But what was interesting is Restoration Angel, it was one that I really wanted to include, but was worthless in this because
non-angels. When is Restoration Angel not good? In
an angel tribal deck, I guess.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I had maybe 2 non-angel creatures in there, but.
Awesome. Well, Taylor, what kind of suggestions would you make for this list?
Careful what you ask for, Chris.
Where are we going with this?
I'm going to suggest you become a criminal and steal this card because it's going to be so expensive. I'm just kidding. It's Bootlegger's Stash. That's the real crime. You're bootlegging. It's 5 generic green artifact. Lands you control have tap, create a treasure token.
You mean create a 2/2 hasty cat token?
Exactly. Yeah. Or treasure if you need it. Or dogs. Yeah. Everything.
Could be whatever you want it to be. That's awesome.
I jokingly say this feels like the Chase Mythic that was created just for everybody who was going to be running this commander because why wouldn't you? But also it's just a fun a dumb fun, but a fun card.
Yeah.
Like, who doesn't want your lands to have even more value?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's kind of like storing up your mana, in a way. Like if you any unspent mana, I mean, there are already cards that do that. This one makes tokens, so it has the synergies with the deck, though.
It does.
So
it's like a more fun Horizon Stone,
right?
I feel like, and also it's colored mana instead of
colored
colorless.
mana.
So
yeah. No, that's a great include. If I feel like bootleggers could go in a lot of decks just because it is so valuable, but it actually has the synergy, the payoff in this deck too. So good call. That's a good one.
I'm just glad that mono green is finally getting the support they need.
Pushed.
Moving along. Love you, Wizards. While you're at it with that bootlegging, why not manufacture some extra value with Academy Manufactor, a 3 generic artifact creature assembly worker that reads, if you would create a clue, food, or treasure token, instead create one of each. It's a 1/3. So I feel like the value here is just instead of 1 cat, make 3 every time your Smothering Tithe goes off.
That's that's really good. You have to be making the one of those 3 types of tokens, right? But when you're making 3 cat tokens per, right? Or 3 whatever.
3 cat tokens per. That was definitely on purpose.
Yeah, I'm definitely that quick-witted, folks.
Oh, you are. Which is ironic because the next suggestion was going to be release the dogs. Just 3 in a white for a sorcery. Create 4 1/1 white dog creature tokens. Oh. Throw a bone to any of the players out there who would want to kind of lean more into the dog tribal with this commander. That's certainly an option, but it is a pretty decent rate, 4 mana for 4 tokens. And that's not counting your Anointed Procession triggers.
Yeah, I didn't know about that card. That's a really solid pick for sure. Yeah,
I think it was a Jumpstart card.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. I don't know if it was in a set before then, but that's where I pulled mine.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 mana, 4 tokens, and you get to pick whatever they don't have to be 1/1s.
Yeah, there is a rules errata that says you have to say release the hounds as you play it.
Better than where I was going with it.
Where were you going?
Let the dogs.
Woof. Woof. Okay. Copyright claim.
Yeah, Taylor, I think with that, let's talk a little bit about the play experience. What, how the decks played. What were some of the interesting gameplay aspects this week?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that we decided to open this up to the audience because I feel like I always get a little bit of set paralysis whenever new commanders are launched. It's like, which one do I build first? Decision paralysis, I think, is the better way to describe it. Sure. But I mean, Jinnie had all the things going for her that I like to build in commanders, so I certainly wasn't disappointed when she won the poll.
Yeah,
I think tribal appeals to me because it kind of it helps with that build paralysis because it kind of gives you some parameters. Yeah. It gives you something to work off of, and then the synergies, you go for it. Yeah. You find what works with it. But cats, dogs, that's something that I can work with, and that's something that you were able to work with. Yeah. Yeah,
very much. And angels the same way. I do like that about tribes as well. Jinnie says, make those tokens into cats and dogs, and put other cards in there that are going to help make those cards work. And
yeah. And I'm kind of glad that you did it that way because I know that when we had done Shurikai earlier this year, you went full tokens on that. And I think there was a similar mindset from what I experienced playing where you did make a crap ton of tokens, but it was all kind of still tribal related. There were a lot of cat tokens. Or things that would generate cat tokens. So it was explosive in a way that was organic, right? Because we both identified that we like the tribal aspects of building commander decks and playing them, but the one game that I won happened after I had a Regal Caracal out, which just happened to be synergizing super well with the 8 other tokens I created the turn before with Secure the Waste. So it felt good. It felt good. It felt powerful. it didn't necessarily have a lot of reach to help with the flyers coming at me, but I don't think that's a critique against the deck, just more so our matchup in particular.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, cats, the caracals, they can jump pretty high, but...
How high was that?
I think it was about 85 feet.
85, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I must have been misremembering.
What did you think it was?
200.
Well, that escalated quickly. And I think, with Jinnie Fay, you could go cats or dogs, cats and dogs. You could go changeling. Like you can definitely build within those tribes. I picked cats because I think there is so far more support for the cat tribe. They eroded a lot of hounds and I don't know what else to make them dogs, but and there are definitely some good dog cards out there. Rin and Siri is one.
Yes. Yeah.
Which was actually in the 99.
I was disappointed that I didn't get to see it just in our game experiences. I did see it on the list because when this card was first spoiled, Jinnie Fay, that's where my mind went to immediately. I was like, oh my gosh, everybody who pulled one of those in M21 is going to be having a field day right now with the support for the tribes.
Oh, for sure. And it's cool because even if you're doing full cat tribal, you cast a cat, it makes a dog token, but actually you make that dog token into a cat token, so you can just keep the cat synergies alive.
So there. What I'm hearing is an identity crisis.
Yeah. It's a really good way to confuse your pets.
Yeah, I had one goal going into this gameplay experience, and it was to turn a Smothering Tithe treasure into a cat, so I could live out my rehoming fee. Headcanon.
You did it. Tweet that.
Yeah, I already did.
Okay.
It is also the reason I lost that game, but
retweet that.
Still felt good. All right. But yeah, I was really impressed with it. I feel like the support certainly is there in the way that you built it for the cats, and those colors just have so many ways to so many ways to enable and pay off token strategies.
Yeah.
And it did that.
Yeah, Naya's great for that. Yeah, tokens populate like any of those types of synergies. So it was fun to watch. Yeah, especially that first game with so much power in one turn. Very cool.
There's no denying that. They're like, Taylor, is that a bit or did you just have a stroke? I don't know.
Well, on the one side of the table, we had a lot of cats. On the other side, we had some flying angels. And, this deck was all about those big flying beaters. Don't worry, I've already been told there's no more beatboxing allowed on the channel. So noted.
I never once said that. We were literally beatboxing as we set up today.
But not on camera.
No.
So... the thing about angels is, of course, any tribal has synergies, but I was just obviously as a tribal deck with all the angels, they do work well together, but I think Giada really does pull it all together. I hopefully I'm not overstating that. I think that as a commander, being able to use the mana to cast angels earlier and then make them bigger, it's they really hit the nail on the head with this commander. Yeah,
we had kind of talked about it a little bit, but I feel like no one would have been disappointed with this commander if it was only the +1/+1 counters.
Right.
Just making it a mana dork, and in a color that does not typically have mana dorks, it kind of adds uniqueness. It's powerful. The ramp cannot be understated. There were multiple times where, at least when I was building it, and maybe when you were playing it too, where it's like, oh no, I can keep that card because I can cast that on turn 4 instead of 5.
Exactly. Yeah, the keepable hands, they become much more keepable even when you have a big flying angel in your opening hand. Yep. Less mulligans.
Winning. Do you feel what was watching me play the deck that you built, did it accomplish what you wanted to see it do if you were playing it.
Oh, 100%. I mean, other than the infinite combos, which I put in there because,
yeah.
you know,
Sorry.
like, but those are a little bit convoluted, which is what's fun about them. But I think as far as just strictly the cat tribal, making tons of tokens, yeah, you definitely did it in every game. It was, that was getting up and running for sure.
What was your favorite play to see?
I mean, we've talked about it a couple times, but that's Secure the Waste to just win the game with like instantly 21 power, hasty.
Yeah.
Like with lifelink, like
for sure.
Just out of nowhere. That was really cool.
For me, it was seeing you with Giada. I think you had we didn't mention it in this episode, but you had Leyline or Lifeline out, which is an artifact that reads whenever a creature dies, if another creature is still on the battlefield when that creature dies, return the creature that died to the battlefield on the end step.
Yeah.
And that's for, me, for all players. It's not just
a global effect. Yeah.
That's the way to put it. Global effect. But seeing you, be able to maximize that effect by having your Angel of Serenity, which I nuked wrongly so. It came back. The counters that were on it, because you had cast it when Giada was on the field, fell off, went onto the Ozolith.
Yeah. So
you didn't even lose those. It came back and you were able to recur again and exile like my only other creature, which I think was a Toski. So you got it the only way you could have. And so like it only came, like you came back stronger.
Yeah. In that same play. Yeah. I guess I didn't like think about, because you double blocked, right?
I did,
double
just to kill
block the Angel of Serenity, and then you let your creatures go to the graveyard, including your commander, right? Because you thought they were coming back with Lifeline, but when Serenity came back, it exiled the creatures out of the graveyard, and then I exiled your one last creature in play.
Yeah. I think what I'm hearing you say is you bullied me.
Didn't need to go over the top with that one.
Yeah, but it was really cool to see. I guess I didn't expect, even as I was building them, to be so resilient. I think that's my biggest fear anytime I'm building a creature-heavy deck or trying to build a creature-heavy deck is, like, what happens if the creatures die? Like, I need to have some kind of engine that's going, so I always have something to do.
Yeah.
And if my board is just blown up and everything's gone, then like, what am I doing?
Right. Right. And creatures are one of the more fragile card types.
Right.
Yeah. Generally speaking, they die to a lot of things. Angel of Emeria is a good one for that.
Yeah.
Angel of Emeria has a landfall trigger. Whenever a land enters the battlefield, you may return I think it's just creatures or it might be any permanent.
I think it's a permanent.
It's any permanent to your hand. If it's a plains, put it into play. So in a mono white deck, you're just be able to recur from the graveyard there too. That was a really good piece. And also, didn't know Karmic Guide was an angel
or a spirit.
I just knew it was an infinite loop with a lot of things.
The only thing I've ever cared about it is that it says protection from black.
It's a blocker. Doesn't die to removal.
But it was a good time. I hope that we get to do this again when the next set comes out.
Oh.
And we hope that you participate.
Awesome. With that, let's go to the surprise reveal, because we're going to do this again next week.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. It'll be 7 figures. Weird bit. Chris, what do you got for me?
So for next week's episode, I wanted to build a deck with a card that we actually, with a commander that we actually called out in a previous episode as a questionable card. I thought, hey, why not make a commander out of that? We're going with Pramicon Sky Rampart. It is a Jeskai, so blue, red, white for a legendary creature wall with flying and defender. As Pramicon Sky Rampart enters the battlefield, choose left or right. Each player may attack only the nearest opponent in the chosen direction and planeswalkers controlled by that opponent. It's a 1/5. So it is a piece that is going to really control combat, and that's really good for Super Friends. As it turns out, you're able to pick which direction you're able to be attacked from. And, there are a lot of really good planeswalkers in there. Jeskai is a great color combination for planeswalkers. You've got your Teferis, you've got your Chandras, you've got your Yeah, mostly Teferis and Chandras now that I think about it.
Sorry, Gideon.
But the card I actually wanted to highlight is a card called Mystic Barrier for 4 and a white enchantment. When Mystic Barrier enters the battlefield or at the beginning of your upkeep, choose left or right. Each player may only attack only the nearest opponent in the last chosen direction and planeswalkers controlled by that opponent. So what happens when you choose left and then choose right with Mystic Barrier?
You need a GPS.
Yeah, the whole battlefield is just completely lost. Can't find the way home.
Yeah, no one can do anything. That's why you're calling all the super friends. Like, hey,
we need a ride.
Directionally challenged.
So I hope it's fun. I hope you're able to lock everybody out of combat and just ultimate all your planeswalkers, because that'd be fun to watch.
Wow, I hope it's fun to experience when I do it to you.
Can't wait.
Listen, we already did the pain artist thing, man.
So what about you, Taylor? What are you building for next week's episode?
Kind of in a similar vein, I too went back through some of the deck lists and found a commander featured in the Nin deck that I think that you'll have a fun time playing, Chris. Awesome. Attempsis All-Seeing, which is a 3 generic blue legendary creature Sphinx. With flying, it has an activated ability of pay 2 and a blue and tap Attempsis to draw 2 cards and then discard a card. Whenever Attempsis All-Seeing deals damage to an opponent, you may reveal your hand. If cards with at least 6 different mana values are revealed this way, that player loses the game. Attempsis is a 4/5.
Wow. That's great. I think it was in Nin because you're drawing so many cards that you're likely to, I'm curious to see what you're likely to have like different mana values. I'm curious, like, what does a mana curve look like on a deck, a Tempest deck?
I'll tell you, it's all over the place. Moxfield was very confused. Not sponsored. And I think you'll also enjoy the way that I tried to get a little cheeky with the abilities here. The recommended card is going to be Viridian Longbow, which is a 1 generic artifact equipment that reads, equipped creature has tapped. This creature deals 1 damage to any target. You can equip for 3.
It's not combat damage with the Tempest, is it?
No.
Oh, holy cow.
They'll never see it coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nice.
Your deck's off the wall.